Welcome to the 2018 New Zealand Cycle Classic here at the Solway Hotel in Masterton for the start of stage number 1. Last night we had an opening criterium stage, but today the race starts proper. 650 kilometres over the 5 stages. We have riders, 4 past winners, Michael Torkler, Michael Vink, Taylor Gunman and Joe Cooper all in the field. And they're going to face some really stiff competition from the Swiss national team, many of the Australian continental teams that are here. And we're really looking forward to a great week of racing. 4 past winners in the field. You ready to go for another one in 2018?
Yeah, it's a different story this time. So, my season doesn't start till about March 20th. So where my form and fitness is still a question. Whereas when I was previously here with Avanti, it was, peak racing season for us. So, we do have a strong team and we've come here to be serious. So, collectively we want to win. Who it is, we'll find out by Admirals.
Michael Torkler, one of your teammates, also a past winner and a great that will he be your protected rider?
He's definitely in hot form, and a perfect day for him is, hardly breaking a sweat out there. So that is a direction we can head into. But, like the year I won it, 15 guys went up the road stage 1 and that was it. So, you can never really know too much. It depends on the interest of teams for a sprint finish today, unless they let a break go.
Day 1, stage 1 of the New Zealand Cycle Classic, Masterton to Alfreton and return back to Masterton, finishing in Dixon Street, 122.5 kilometres, 2 key points, the Sign Factory Sprint Ace competition at 42 kilometres and the Mega Mitre 10 Masterton, King of the Mountains at 44k. They're the only 2 real points of the race that will cause the riders a little bit of stress. The rollout from the Copthorne Hotel, Solway Park, where the race is hosted over the 5 days. Beautiful conditions, 5 kilometres of neutralised through town. There's a chance for the riders to warm up. Not they need that at the moment. It's around 22 degrees already in Masterton, so a warm day for the riders. Race director George Sandoval will drop the flag and they're into racing. 122 kilometres, they head out of town towards the Alfreton circuit. The circuit we've used in the past on the final stage. In the black jersey in that front group was Taylor Gunman. He'll come back into shot, past winner of this race, one of 4 past winners. Gunman won in 2015. Where a break went away on the first stage. Of course, a lot of the riders are already talking about Saturday stage up to Admirals Hill is the key point in this race, but there's a lot of racing, a lot of kilometres to be covered before they get there. A little break trying to establish itself early in the race. Taylor Gunman, Tank Guy Bike Box represented, so a few teams. Robert Stanner, Team Skoda Racing. Great to have Robert back from Australia. Of course, a product of Palmerston North Boys High School. One of the top under 23 riders in the world. He's just stretching his legs. They won't want to let him get too far away this early in the race. Tactics, the riders, of course, teams. Team Freezor there with their head gladiator, Alexander Ray in the black. There he goes, going through. Alexander Ray of Auckland. Alex, very good all-round rider, good sprinter. So leading Team Freezor. He's, as I said, the head gladiator for the team. Noel Turner, Sport the Freezer Cycling Project, down to the wire wrapper for the first time. Jason Rico's here from the US as the team mechanic. Darian Rush, the winner of this race in 1988, is the team manager. So that little break, you can see the Peloton at the moment, not too keen on letting anybody get too far away, around 10 seconds. The race will go like this, where the teams will keep trying to send riders off the front. There's the Benelong Swiss Wellness team. You'll remember them from past as the Avanti Racing team. New sponsor, some new riders, but of course, Joe Cooper, last year's winner, is in this team. Luke Mudgway in the New Zealand national kit on the yellow bike. Michael Vink in the white. Vink riding for the Brisbane Cycling Academy. Alex Ray just on the front, just trying to bridge that little gap. So the Brisbane Continental Cycling team that Vink's a part of course, Michael Vink, a winner of this race. I think it was 2014. That team was here last year under the banner of Cobra 8. So they've stepped up a level for 2018. The Swiss national team, they're here as a part of their build-up to the track season. They're the endurance track team. They're here with their coach, Ross Majeski. They've spent a week in Christchurch, maybe a little bit longer down there. They raced the New Year's Carnival. And they're staying with the Godfrey family, being well looked after in Canterbury. GPM, a team we've seen many times here on the New Zealand Cycle Classic. Harrison Bailey just in the group, just making sure that all teams always try to get a rider in a break so they can cover things. A couple of riders getting away, and they'll be coming up to the first real competition, 44 kilometres into the stage, the Sprint Ace competition. Sign Factory leading it out. Brett Grieve. Grieve going to the line. Has he done enough to hang on? I don't think so. They go across the line. GPM, Aaron Watts takes the Sign Factory sprint points, 3 points in the bag. Of course, this year there's points for the the first rider in the stage as well. A lot of points handed out, so a little bit different to the normal Sprint Ace format that we've had on the tour in past years. So these two working well together. A long, lonely ride out there when you've got a bit of company, two of them working, sharing the workload. They'll be trying to hang on to the Mega Mitre 10. There we go, the King of the Mountains, just a couple of kilometres after the sprint. Grieve goes over the line, takes that. That's the King of the Mountains jersey for his team. So Tank Guy Bike Box team, they'll be pretty happy to have one of the classification jerseys already with only one King of the Mountains climb in today's race. In the Waira Rapid, there are plenty of climbs to come. So it's important the riders, they take on plenty of hydration. They go back to their team cars. You'll see sometimes team handlers or soigneurs on the side of the road with water bottles, very hot conditions, 28 degrees halfway through the stage. Grieve still driving it out front. They're working well together. But the Peloton haven't let them get too far away. The biggest gap we've had through the day is about a minute and a half. And there it is. When you see the group compact like that, you know the pace is not on, it's just steady. The Brisbane Continental Cycling team in the white jerseys massing at the front. Team Skoda Racing also there. Some of the other riders down the back, they've either been going back to the car to get water bottles for their team leaders, or they're just starting to feel it already on day one of the New Zealand Cycle Classic. The Alfreton Circuit. The wind today, a little bit different to other years. We're going to have a tailwind into the finish. It's a good opportunity for a small group maybe to get away, use the tailwind and stay away. But it's a day that the teams will be wanting to look at their sprinters, particularly been along with Anthony Gaikopo, a man who's won here, the New Zealand Cycle Classic in the past. If they can keep it together for him, he'll be a man to watch. The job done for the two breakaway riders back into the peloton. They've had some reward for being out there. And as soon as they're picked up, another two. Mobius Future Racing and the Brisbane Continental Cycling team. Now that the peloton's back together, James Oram just goes through. Hayden McCormick's out of the seat in the black colours of New Zealand. It's strung out, so the pace is picking up. Harry Wayne, Team Skoda. So this group, a lot of teams represented, and that's always a good sign for a breakaway if you can get 7, 8 teams with different riders working well together. They'll look over the shoulder, making sure they've got the gap. We can see the peloton. Some more riders trying to come across. Jesse Coyle, Mobius, the big man in the light blue. Zolo's the rider in the colours of the Swiss national team. There's Michael Vink in the white. JLT Condor represented, so their first race of the 2018 season for the British-based team. Been regular visitors here to the Wairarapa for the New Zealand Cycle Classic. Hayden McCormick just gets onto the aero position. Being aggressive in the closing stages of the race, Hayden McCormick, as this break tries to establish itself. 122.5 kilometres, 650 odd kilometres in total for the New Zealand Cycle Classic for 2018. There's Michael Torkler, another past winner. Michael Torkler won in 2010. There's a nice bit of mowing from the local farmer, putting a little bit of art into the paddocks. Nice to see. Dry conditions, as always, in the Wairarapa this time of year. For so many of the international riders, I love coming here with riders from Denmark, Ireland, South Africa, Great Britain, of course Australia. But particularly the European-based riders, they can't wait to get down to the Wairarapa to do some racing in the sunshine. New Zealand's only UCI ranked stage race, so points for these teams can get them invitations to future races in the season through Asia. Oliver's Real Food Racing, well performed here last year with Logan Griffin. Griffin not a part of the team this year, but they've brought a pretty good lineup, and Sam Lizelle will be back in Australia keeping an eye on them. The manager's Craig Chapman this year. Ashley Mackay, the big man on the front for the Australian Cycling Academy. They ride out of the Sunshine Coast. Nice place to ride a bike. Conditions he'll be well used to. Very similar to what he's experiencing today. There's only a few teams aren't represented, so it's up to them to chase. But this little break is looking quite dangerous. Robert Stannard, Team Skoda Racing on the front. Aaron Watts, he's been outstanding today. Robert McCarthy as well for JLT Condor. Michael Vink. There's Vink in the middle. And the white jerseys, they start heading towards back into Masterton. Chris Harper. Been along, just trying to pick things up, get the pace going. We've got a couple of riders just sitting out, dangling out in front. There they go. Bechet. Aaron Watts. Can they stay away? They're getting into the last sort of 7 kilometres of the stage. It's a little bit of cat and mouse. Two teams, each with two riders. Been along. Oliver's Real Food Racing. So they've got the advantage. Robert Stannard goes through to do his turn on the front, has a look. Hayden McCormick just gets down onto the drops. Got a corner coming up. Moves onto the wheel. Oliver's Real Food Racing. Got 1 and 2 now. So Chris Harper wants to pull it all back together. They've just about got them back. Can they get to them? The flick of the elbow. Come on, can you do a turn for me? They haven't got us yet. The Swiss looking a little bit too strong. They're back together. Brendan Davis. Jack Sutton, he'll be looking after the interests of Nick Redditch. So there's Sutton, 51, Redditch following him. Oliver's Real Food in a good position. Robert Stannard's a very good finisher as well. Michael Vink. Hayden McCormick. 800 metres to go, and there's a move. Nick Redditch has decided it's time to have a little dabble off the front 800 now. That's a good time to hit them. Now they're starting to chase. Who's going to come around the corner into Dixon Street? Redditch has got the advantage. Can he hang on with 200 metres to go? It's Hayden McCormick coming after him. Hayden McCormick from the New Zealand national team, second in the national championships last week. Chasing the stage win, he's out of the seat. Robert Stannard, they go across the line. Redditch hangs on. Stannard gets third. McCormick settles for second. Great ride by Oliver's Real Food, Nick Redditch. Excellent performance, Frank Richey. Tried his hand, just coming in. There's the Peloton coming in, the big group. They're coming towards the finish. Be Anthony Guy Coppo, Benelong. He'll be leading them out, and the man in the bright yellow goes across. Guy Coppo takes the sprint in the Peloton, but no doubt about the stage winner today, Nick Redditch, Oliver's Real Food Racing. Nick, congratulations on the stage win in the yellow jersey. Did the race go as planned today?
Yeah, it was a hard race to pick and select what moves to go in. There's a few moves go early on, but nothing really stuck until halfway round. We got a group of about 10 guys that were all committed, and that stayed away to the finish.
Take me through the last kilometre, because you seemed to come around that corner with a little break on your breakaway companions.
Yeah, it was very tactical going in there. There's a few moves, a few attacks going on in the last 5K. And then there was a bit of a lull while everyone was there, so I just took the opportunity with about 800 to go. I think I attacked and just held off for the win.
Nick Redditch was a deserving winner of stage one of the New Zealand Cycle Classic, winning in a sprint finish from his breakaway companions, and will wear the Tour leader's yellow jersey in tomorrow's 120-kilometre stage. Hayden McCormick, second for the New Zealand national team, looking very strong. But there's a number of riders, including Michael Vink, another former winner of this race in the past, lining up behind him. They'll all be thinking about stage number 4, but right now the race belongs to Nick Redditch and the Oliver's Real Food Racing team.